When we close our eyes and surrender to sleep, we do more than simply drift into rest. We embark on a journey beyond the waking self. The body may lie still, but the mind does something curious. It seems to unhook from the physical realm and wander freely into landscapes that defy logic, yet feel inexplicably real. These dreamscapes don't mimic life. They rival it, pulsing with emotion, sensation, and encounters that often leave a deeper mark than waking experience. Conventional science frames sleep as a time for cellular repair, mental reset, and energy conservation. But if that were the whole story, why would the mind create entire worlds while the body rests? Why would we meet people who feel familiar, yet unknown, or relive emotions we've long buried? There is a threshold, a liminal veil between wakefulness and sleep, and as we cross it, something peculiar happens to consciousness. It does not switch off like a light. Rather, it shifts, transforms, and perhaps even expands into a subtler realm of awareness. It may be here, in this in-between state, that consciousness reveals another aspect of itself, one not bound by the laws of time, space, or form. Neuroscience tells us that during REM sleep, regions of the brain associated with vision and emotion ignite with activity, while the logical prefrontal cortex quiets down. But this neurological dance seems to open a portal rather than explain it. In the absence of our waking logic, we enter a space where inner truths, unresolved memories, and archetypal images rise to the surface. These are not simply dreams. They are messages, perhaps even invitations, from a deeper layer of the self. The dreaming mind, then, is not idle. It is engaged in profound inner labor, filtering experience, purging psychic residue, and weaving meaning from fragments of thought and feeling. While the body lies in quiet darkness, the mind may be communing with something far more luminous. Even in sleep, the brain does not truly go silent. Its stillness is an illusion. Beneath the quiet exterior, intricate systems continue their work. Our awareness of the external world may dim, but it never disappears. Instead, it pivots inward into realms untouched by daylight, dimensions of symbol, archetype, memory, and mystery. As if guided by an unseen compass, the mind moves through corridors of the subconscious, decoding and reconstructing the raw material of our inner world. Sleep, then, is not the end of consciousness. It is its metamorphosis. In this altered state, awareness shifts from logic and form into fluidity and meaning. The mind doesn't simply rest, it rebuilds. It organizes the unspoken, reshapes the emotional, and perhaps even crafts new dimensions of reality, far beyond the grasp of our waking comprehension. What appears as rest may in fact be the deep work of the soul. But the question arises, why does the brain sustain such vivid, immersive activity during a time meant for recovery? One of the more mystifying elements of this nocturnal transformation is the role of a naturally occurring compound, dimethyltryptamine, or DMT. Revered and feared in equal measure, DMT is known for inducing visions of breathtaking intensity when ingested in ritual or altered states. Yet few realize that the brain produces it internally, most prominently during REM sleep. Its presence suggests something more than mere biological coincidence. Those otherworldly landscapes we traverse in dreams, surreal, symbolic, impossibly detailed, may not be illusions, but gateways. The encounters with ethereal beings, the sensations of floating through dimensions, the visions of luminous architecture, these may all be manifestations of DMT's subtle hand. But unlike synthetic doses, this release is gentle, natural, woven into the very fabric of sleep. Could it be that dreams are not distortions, but glimpses into parallel states of being? Perhaps what we call dreaming is not a break from reality, but a migration into another one, a space where consciousness, unbound by the body, journeys into the invisible realms that shape all visible things. Among the most compelling and unsettling phenomena of sleep is the prophetic dream, a vision that pierces the veil of time, offering glimpses of events not yet occurred. These are not vague impressions or metaphorical symbols, but vivid, often unsettling experiences so detailed that when the events unfold in waking life, they feel less like coincidence and more like echoes from the future. History holds many such accounts, but few as haunting as the dream of Abraham Lincoln. Days before his assassination, he described a dream in which he wandered through the White House to find mourners gathered around a casket. When he asked who had died, a voice replied, "The president." The precision of this dream, the setting, the atmosphere, the outcome, suggests that in sleep, Lincoln's consciousness had touched something that lay outside the known stream of time. This possibility challenges our understanding of the mind. Could it be that during sleep, consciousness slips free from the illusion of linear time? That it swims in a deeper current where past, present, and future exist not as separate moments, but as layers of the same ocean? Dreams may not always be memories in reverse. Sometimes they feel like whispers from what has not yet happened. Messages from a vantage point beyond the present moment, beyond even the boundaries of what we call reality. Equally enigmatic is the phenomenon of sleep paralysis, a state in which one becomes aware while the body remains unresponsive. It begins with a strange awareness. The eyes open, the room is visible, but the limbs are frozen. What follows is often a heavy presence in the room, something unseen yet unmistakably there, as though an ancient intelligence stands just beyond perception. Traditional neuroscience attributes this to a timing mismatch between brain and body. The mind awakens, but the body remains locked in REM atonia, the paralysis that prevents us from acting out our dreams. But this explanation, though tidy, does not satisfy the experiences of those who have lived through these episodes. Many report a sensation of being between worlds, not quite dreaming, not fully awake. In this liminal space, the boundaries of the physical dissolve, and what remains is pure awareness, suspended between dimensions. Figures in shadow, whispers at the edge of hearing, the crushing weight of invisible hands. All of these sensations are common, and they defy the neat logic of neurology. Perhaps sleep paralysis is not merely a biological hiccup, but a passage, a crack in the wall between realms. A moment where consciousness slips from its tether and glimpses another layer of reality, one inhabited not by fantasy, but by something watching. Some believe that sleep paralysis is not merely a malfunction of the brain, but a brush with expanded awareness, a fleeting glimpse into the delicate separation between the physical body and the subtle layers of consciousness. In those moments of stillness and fear, could we be brushing up against the edge of another dimension? Perhaps the terror we feel is not from malfunction, but from standing at the threshold of a world our waking mind cannot fully grasp. Out-of-body experiences and lucid dreaming are two paths frequently cited by those who've wandered into these deeper states of being. In such states, individuals often report a sensation of weightlessness, of floating above their own sleeping form, or of traversing distant, unfamiliar landscapes untethered by space or time. These journeys are not always bound by the physical. In fact, they often take place in realms that defy the known laws of reality. Though modern science views such experiences with skepticism, cross-cultural testimonies suggest there may be more to human consciousness than our current frameworks can explain. Lucid dreaming, the moment when the dreamer becomes aware within the dream, opens yet another door. In this rarefied state, the dream becomes a canvas, and the mind a conscious artist. The sleeper realizes they are dreaming, yet remains immersed within the dream itself. In this liminal zone, one can shape landscapes, summon companions, and alter entire narratives with intention alone. The experience challenges the notion that we are passive observers in the dream state. Instead, it reveals a capacity for volition and awareness, a sign that our consciousness is not confined to flesh and form. These inner journeys may not be illusions. They may be thresholds, portals into alternate realities or the deeper chambers of the soul. In passing through them, even for a moment, we encounter the mystery of the self, not as a static identity, but as an ever-expanding field of perception. Time itself seems to fracture in these states. In dreams, the passage of time often bears no resemblance to waking chronology. A single moment can stretch into what feels like hours. Entire lifetimes may pass before the sleeper stirs. And yet, in the physical world, only minutes may have ticked by. This distortion hints at something profound, that time as we know it may be a construct tied to the body and not to the soul. In dreams, time bends, it stretches and contracts, shifting not by the logic of clocks, but by the intensity of experience. A single glance, a fleeting moment, can feel like a lifetime. A long narrative, full of vivid events and emotion, may pass in the blink of an eye. This paradox challenges the notion of time as a fixed current. In dreams, time flows according to meaning, not measurement. Emotions felt in dreams often linger for days, sometimes even years, as though their echo defies the boundaries of duration. The soul seems to recognize that the impact of a moment cannot be defined by seconds or minutes, but by depth, the resonance it leaves within us. This fluidity compels us to reconsider what time truly is. Perhaps it is not an external force, but a construct of consciousness, a malleable structure that shifts according to the awareness that perceives it. In sleep, the mind slips from linear time and into a state where cause and effect unravel, where memory and future blur. It is as if consciousness, freed from the physical body, enters a different rhythm entirely, one that operates outside the usual laws of our waking world. And from this state arises a deeper question. Is time something that consciousness experiences, or something that consciousness creates? Such inquiries lead us to the tantalizing hypothesis of the multiverse, the idea that dreams may serve as portals, not just into the unconscious, but into other realms of existence. According to this theory, there is not one singular reality, but an infinite web of parallel worlds, branching timelines where different versions of ourselves are living out alternate outcomes, making choices we did not make, and experiencing lives we never touched. The concept of parallel realities has captured not only the curiosity of quantum physicists, but also the imagination of mystics and seekers across cultures. It suggests that time and space are not linear threads, but interwoven layers, infinite in their branching, endless in their possibility. And dreams, those nocturnal voyages, might be how we brush against those other timelines, slipping briefly into worlds that are ours, and yet not ours. From the lens of consciousness, these experiences hint that awareness is not limited to a single stream of reality. Rather, we may exist across a vast spectrum, a web of possibilities, each shaped by thoughts, energies, and intentions. Lucid dreams, déjà vu, and precognitive visions could all be glimpses of these alternative strands of being. To encounter these dimensions is not merely to escape the physical, but to reconnect with something larger, something universal. In touching other timelines, the self begins to dissolve, and what remains is a greater awareness that we are not isolated fragments, but part of a vast, interwoven cosmic intelligence. Through this lens, dreams are no longer just echoes of the day or fragments of desire. They may be contact points, moments when the boundaries thin and the soul glimpses the infinite. What we call reality might be but one layer, and our consciousness, unbound in sleep, may already know how to navigate them all. As science begins to probe the boundaries of the cosmos, and quantum theory stretches our understanding of reality, intriguing parallels begin to emerge. Parallels between the idea of parallel universes and the strange familiarity we encounter in dreams. Within dreams, we are often immersed in scenes and places that seem both alien and intimately known, as if we've lived them before, though no memory in waking life can explain them. This uncanny sense of déjà vu, the feeling that we've dreamed this before, leads many to ask, how can the mind, through mere neurological activity, create such coherent, emotionally rich realities? The idea that dreams might serve as portals to alternate realities does more than expand our view of the mind. It echoes ancient spiritual traditions that have long claimed dreams to be gateways between worlds. In esoteric teachings, dream realms are considered access points to higher planes of existence, navigable only when consciousness detaches from the material shell. Modern physics, in its exploration of the multiverse, proposes something eerily similar, that multiple versions of ourselves and countless variations of existence may coexist beyond our perception, layered through dimensions as yet unseen. In these dreamscapes, we may not merely be processing memory or desire. We may be aligning, even if briefly, with versions of ourselves that reside elsewhere, living lives beyond the reach of waking logic. These aren't just metaphorical journeys, but direct engagements with alternate timelines, where each choice diverges into a new world, and each world holds its own story. Many spiritual traditions teach that when the body sleeps, the soul awakens, stepping beyond the illusion of solidity and entering fluid, metaphysical terrain. Here, time bends, space folds, and thought becomes architecture. In this state, the dreamer is not limited by identity or chronology. Instead, they are free to interact with versions of themselves, free to retrieve wisdom from parallel selves, free to witness other lives still unfolding. This resonates deeply with the theory that dreams are not just internally generated visions, but interactions with external layers of reality. Perhaps the mind does not invent these worlds. Perhaps it tunes into them. Each dream, then, may be a brief visitation into another version of selfhood, one that doesn't exist in the daylight, but nonetheless contains lessons, insights, and reflections that inform who we are becoming. And yet, upon waking, these visions often dissolve. The vibrant details of an epic dream, names, faces, entire cities, seem to vanish within moments. It is as though a curtain falls, and the passage is sealed once more. This forgetfulness leads us to wonder, why are our dreams so fragile? Why does the richness of the experience slip away so easily? Neuroscience points to the hippocampus, the region of the brain responsible for memory formation. During REM sleep, when dreams are most vivid, this area becomes less active, interfering with the brain's ability to anchor those experiences into conscious memory. But this biological explanation feels like only part of the story. Perhaps what we call forgetfulness is actually a veil, a protective boundary between realms, ensuring that what we glimpse beyond doesn't overwhelm the structures of waking identity. Or perhaps the dreams themselves are not truly lost, but stored in a deeper layer of the psyche, one not readily accessed by the logical mind, but remembered by the soul. Across spiritual traditions, many believe that forgetting our dreams is not a flaw of the mind, but a form of protection, a veil drawn gently over the soul to shield it from the overwhelming intensity of nocturnal truths. Some even suggest that the amnesia we experience upon waking is intentional, preserving the delicate boundary between our earthly identity and the vastness we briefly touch in sleep. But if dreams hold deeper meaning, if they are messengers from beyond, we are left to wonder, is this forgetting truly necessary? Or is there something else unfolding behind the scenes of our awareness? All of this suggests that sleep may be far more than rest. It may be a sacred portal, a threshold through which consciousness expands, even as the body lies still. In this quiet unraveling of ego and form, we may encounter the purest expressions of awareness, untethered, unbounded, and unafraid. Sleep becomes not an escape, but an initiation, an invitation to explore what lies beyond the visible world, to reconnect with layers of the self that our waking mind cannot name. And perhaps, within these silent voyages, we come closer to truth, not through reason, but through the soul's remembering. It is here, in the shadowed spaces of the night, that we are reminded consciousness is not confined. It is eternal, and it moves with purpose, through dreams, through time, through every veil we dare to pass. Thank you for walking this path with me. If this journey resonated with you, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more explorations into the mysteries of the soul and the unseen. Share this message with someone who may be seeking, and let's expand this circle of awareness together. And in the comments below, I welcome your reflections, your questions, and your personal experiences. Until we meet again, stay open, stay curious, and take care of your spirit.